Hello Protrusive, I'm Jazz Galati and welcome to this video-only episode special with Darren Tsang on how to make your own cross-polarizing filter so you can turn your photos from this to this. Darren Tsang, welcome to the Protrusive podcast. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jazz. Thanks for having me. I love the podcast. It's amazing.
Oh man, I'm so stoked because we're going the Indian in me can't help but explore this avenue. When I found out and I saw that you made your own cross-polarizing filter, I was like, oh my god, I need to get this out there to everyone. So honestly, thank you firstly for coming on and being in a position to share, right? Because it's very good of you. You could have easily made your own kits and sold them online and whatnot, but you're being very kind enough to generously share something that I think is going to help a lot of people's photography and case selection. So before we delve any further, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you practicing? Where are you qualified? What is it that you like?
Yeah, well, I actually qualified last year, so I'm an FD this year in Liverpool. It's quite a big practice. It's called the Dental House. So I actually met my ES and the principal at a BACD thing before applying there. So yeah, it's amazing how you get to know people.
It just shows how forward-thinking you are. Like, you're an FD, and the caliber of dentistry I've seen already from your social media, and the fact that you're going to BACD, that's the British Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry events, right? So that tells me that okay, you got your head screwed on correctly, and the fact that you even know what a cross-polarizing filter is. I didn't know what that was in an FD year until a long while afterwards, and then to also have the audacity to put yourself through a torture of learning how to do it and then actually executing it. So Darren, from what you've learned, I mean, firstly, who inspired you? Where did you learn about a cross-polarizing filter before we talk about the benefits?
Yeah, so I think it was during final year. Basically, my mode of procrastination was staring at photos of teeth on Facebook. So I think it was on the Ripe Facebook page. Loads of people were using it. I think Tom Seeley was using it as well. And back then, you used to be able to do this really cool search function on Facebook where it'd search all your groups if you type something in. So I typed in like polarizer, like cross polarizer, and it just came up with loads of posts. But I don't think you can do it anymore.
I see. Well, that's a really clever way of doing it. And basically, what do you think are the advantages? So basically, I mean, I'll just set the scene for everyone. You know when you see those photos of teeth, as you do on social media, and then you see a photo and it looks a little bit like X-ray vision of the teeth. It looks a bit like the flash is way less, and you can almost see the internal anatomy of the teeth. That's using a cross-polarizing filter, as we discussed. So what do you think are the benefits? How has it helped you in practice, and what do the practitioners, myself included, who use it claim are the advantages?
Yeah, so I think, well, I've not used it a huge amount, to be honest. I've used it on a couple of cases just with composite buttons. That's pretty limited for me.
Well, talk about that. Talk about how you think it helps you in that phase.
Yeah, well, so I think supposedly it gets rid of the specular highlights, which lets you analyze the shade better, and that's certainly something that I've found helpful when putting the buttons on the teeth. I find that it really does help. When you take the photo, get it up on the computer, and look at it. You know, I wouldn't necessarily have chosen the same shade if I hadn't used the polarizer. So I definitely think it's helpful.
That's true, because when you're using the ring flash or any flash, like, it almost overpowers and you get these really bright hot spots, right? Hot spots on the photos, and that takes away from the details that you want. So by using a cross-polarizing filter, you get all the detail from a photograph without all that horrible flash, and that's why these composite buttons that you place, you know, an A2 over here, an A1 over here, etc., to see, okay, and you obviously cure it, what shade is most likely going to match the adjacent tooth, etc. That's how you're using it. The other times I've used it as well is when you're doing a class 4 as well, or if you're doing a single central veneer or a crown and you want to send some information to the lab, and they will be able to better see the translucent areas, the internal anatomy, so they can, when they build up the ceramic, they have a better idea. The other time is white spots, Darren. So people with white spots, I tend to use, whitening, icon, that kind of stuff for minimally invasive treatment, and it helps you to almost observe the depth of the opacity a lot more using the cross-polarizing filter. And every time I post a cross-polarized photo, people are always like, whoa, what is this voodoo magic, right? That's the first thing people say. I've never seen this. What is this? How do you do this? So at the time, my story of how I got to learn one is I bought my camera, like literally a few months, like my first paycheck went towards buying my body, my ring flash, and the lens, right? And then I bought a lot of the stuff, and the advice I give is to buy your equipment from photographers who are just upgrading their equipment, and you can get good, well looked after equipment on the cheap. So I got this pretty much half the price, and then in the box, somewhere at the bottom of the box was this like round thingy in the bug. Like, what the hell is this, right? And like it took me 6 months of just lying around there, and I was like, well, come on, like my patient must have cancelled or something. I must have just stuck it on, and I was like, no way, that's like the photos I saw on Facebook, right? So it was amazing. And these things aren't cheap. They can cost £300-400, like this famous company does Polarizing. Now, this episode is not to take away from the dental industry. Okay, you guys do an awesome job. So if you can afford it, always buy the high end. But if you're in a situation where you're just getting started, then there are so many benefits to making your own cross-polarizing filter. So Darren, how did you learn how to make one? And then please share the secret sauce.
Yeah, so it was actually one of the bioemulation guys behind like Polarized. They put a post in their, I think it was on their Facebook group, that you can make your own DIY filter. So I was like, well, if they're saying you can do it, I'm definitely going to give that a go. So I used that search function on Facebook, and I saw a few people had given it a go, but you know, they had like tape everywhere, it was like made out of cardboard. It just didn't look that great. So I was like, well, if I do that, but then maybe I can get it made out of metal or like plastic or something, just make it a little bit more presentable. So the first thing I did was measure up my camera. I've actually got some photos to share.
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen. So for those of you watching on YouTube with Dental Tubules, or on the new app coming soon, oh my god, I can't be able to just reveal the secret, but okay, you'll be able to see the visuals, but we'll also describe it for our Protrusive on audio as well. So, okay, awesome.
So, can you see that?
Yeah, lovely, brilliant.
So that's all the stuff that I used. So stuff you should have at home: sellotape, cardboard, scissors, ruler, pencil. I bought a linear polarizing film. I think it's important that it has to be the linear one, because you can get like circular as well. Mm-hmm. So stick with the linear one. And I got one off Amazon, so I can share that link later if it's helpful.
Yeah, please do. I'll stick it on the website.
Because I used another company called Edmund Optics as well, which is a little bit more expensive, just because I thought I'll try like a proper company first and then see if the Amazon one works, but they both work. Wow. And then I sent my prototype off to this company called Razor Lab, and they made a frame for about £45. When I did it about a year ago, it was only £25, so I don't know what the difference in cost was there. Mm. And then magnets to get it stuck to your ring flash, and then some mounting tape as well to put the two pieces of acrylic together, because you're going to be sandwiching your film in between two pieces of acrylic, mm-hmm. and then a ring adapter. But I'll go through all that stuff.
Sure. Talk us through it.
Go through. So first stage, I measured up my camera. So I did this for my ES a couple of weeks ago. So this is how I have all the photos. Drew it all up, cut out my film, and put it onto my prototype. And
so the film goes both on the flash component of the ring flash and on the middle lens component. Is that right?
Yeah. So you can probably see I've like marked some Sharpie marks on the middle photo there. The reason for that was it's really important to keep your orientation as you're cutting the film into those pieces. So on the bits of film that cover your flash, they need to be parallel to each other, mm-hmm. and then the bit that goes over your lens needs to be 90 degrees to the flash mm-hmm. pieces. So it's really important to keep your orientation. Don't worry about marking the film, because it comes with like a protective layer over it, so that can just peel off later.
Okay.
So once you've got it on the prototype, I just tested it, made sure I was happy with it, and then just to make sure the shape works. And then I drew that up. And actually, my brother did architecture at uni, so he's good at like 2D drawings, because you can just send in your physical drawing to the company, but it will cost you more to get it made. If you convert it into a 2D file, then you can then it's a bit cheaper for you. So my brother did that for me. I've actually got the file for the Nissin ring flash as well.
Amazing.
So yeah, I think that's quite a popular ring flash. So if anyone wants that, I can just send the file, and it'll be a bit cheaper to get it made.
Sure. And what's your Instagram, so we can like follow you and message you if you want, if you want this?
Yeah, it's just Dr. Darren Tsang. Yeah. So this is what it looks like when it came back. You can get it engraved as well, and it'll come with like a sticky tab. So you need 2 pieces, and I just went for like the minimum thickness, so it was like 3mm, and I asked for the matte black acrylic. But you can get whatever colour you want that's on the website, and then you just transfer the film onto the piece. So on the left hand side, it's got all the sellotape on it. It's got the protective film on it as well. Just try to cut it so that you can stick on sellotape around the edges to sellotape the film onto the frame, if that makes sense. I can show you in the next photo. But if you look at the right hand photo, there's like Sharpie marks on the frame, just little dots. The reason I did that was just when you're taking off the protective film, everything's going to come apart, so you're going to lose your orientation. So if you just mark around the edges, you can get your film back in the right place. But if you do lose your orientation, it's not the end of the world, because you can just lift it up to a light. So if you look on the left hand photo here, there's 2 bulbs on show. The right bulb is just looking through the film that's covering the flash portion of it, and then the left bulb, that's looking through 2 different pieces of film. And what you do is you just like rotate that middle piece. So on the right hand side, it's rotated until that left bulb goes dark, so you can't see that bulb anymore.
I see what you mean. So when you can't see that bulb, that means now you got them perpendicular to each other.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So then try and keep that orientation, and then just like slide it down into place. And then if you just look at the left photo again, on the right hand side of the left photo, you can just see like a little rectangular bit of sellotape. That's just what I've used to like keep everything in place. So it's probably a little bit more obvious there. It looks a bit naff at this point, but when you've got the two pieces of acrylic together, you can't see it anymore. On the right hand side, I've used some. It's called Gorilla mounting tape. So I just used about 5 or 6 pieces dotted around the frame, and it's like a double-sided sticky tape, and you can put it together, and it keeps it together nice and solid. When you do it, just try and get it sort of inside the edge of the frame a little bit, so it's not showing. There's a little bit of space between that and the edge of the frame. So
it's not sticking out, looking like sharp and ugly.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can stick the 2 pieces together and put some magnets on. So I've got a link to magnets.
Wow, this is a serious operation
from Amazon.
I'm very impressed.
And then just test it again. Make sure you're happy with it. So this is pictures I just took of my own teeth with my ES's flash. Make sure it works, and then you can mount it. I've got a little video just to show you how the magnet works.
Oh, lovely!
As well. You
just mounts on and off quite nicely.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It stays on pretty well, but it just comes off.
I need
really,
one of these magnets
really
actually, because I've got my like ready-made cross-polarizing filter, which is completely unbranded. So, I've been looking for which other industries use this, because it's a pre-made thing. It's like an acrylic and stuff, and it looks really posh, but it's not dental at all. So I couldn't find it online at all. So maybe I'll keep looking. But I just need to, like, at the moment when I take a photo, I have to hold it steady against the flash and against the lens. But if there was a magnet component, it will just stick on quite nicely. So I think that's a great idea for me as well, to modify my existing one.
Yeah. So you're using it with a ring flash?
Correct. You're using a ring flash as well, right?
Yeah. No, so I just made that one for my
So
I
you got
use a
both
twin
bases
flash though,
covered.
so
Yeah.
I've got a couple of I've got a couple of photos for that as well. Just to note, so if you're going to use this this frame that I've made, if you want to use the file, it rattles around on the flash a little bit. So just on the left hand side, on the right hand side, just put like another set of magnets or some Velcro or something just to stop it from rattling around. If you can do that. So this is the one I've made. So if you want to attach it to a twin flash, you need to get one of these ring adapters. So I bought this one for about £3 on eBay. It's called the Kokin P ring adapter, and I don't know how they do it, but when you screw it in, it always seems to go to the same place. So you just screw it on tight, and then put your magnets on, and it will always go back to that place. I don't know how they do it, but that's how it works. And then that's it, and it comes on and off the same way.
And that's your bigger piece that covers the lens and the flash together.
Yeah. So actually, I've got it in front of me now, so I can probably just show you. If I just come out of this.
Wow.
So this is in person, and again, it just comes
that is so
on
slick.
And off.
Yeah, mine's like fiddly, like I have to hold it in place. Yours is much posher. Man, I'm so impressed. I am absolutely impressed. Like, honestly, I didn't know what to expect today. And when you said, when I said to you, hey, can you please share it with us? I was literally, I don't know what to expect, but I was kind of expecting like, you got like this scissors and this. You bought this paper, you just like made them perpendicular, cut, stick it on. That is beautiful what you made, right? That is beautiful what you made. So like, how much does it cost in total to make your own versus what is it these dental companies sell it for?
Yeah, so like there's a few companies that do it. I think there's like Polarized. I think Dentalize is another one. They're around £300. I think when I looked on PhotoMid, the Polarized one was like $449, and when I made mine, I think in total it cost me about £60, and the one I made for my ES the other day cost £73 in total if you're buying everything from scratch. But if you already have like the Gorilla tape, or if you happen to have magnets around, then,
I mean, Darren, I think there are two types of individuals, right? One type who likes this kind of stuff, likes doing it, and has takes pride in doing it and saving money. It's a great feeling to be able to put it all together, and it's your own craft. I am not in that camp. Like, I'm terrible at I'm good at dentistry, I like to say, if I'm not blowing my own trumpet. But when it comes to DIY, I'm hopeless. Okay, so I'm in the camp that the amount of time it would take me to actually get a decent product that doesn't look really naff. Like, you are very skilled. Like, yours just looks amazing, looks beautiful. I know I'd mess it up, so I'm probably in the camp that I'd rather spend a couple £100 and actually get one made if I didn't have one already. So I'm in that camp, and that's there's no right or wrong, and you can be in any camp. Just out of curiosity, do you have the time and the resources to, if a dentist, because I imagine a few dentists will do this, or message you saying, hey Darren, can you make me one? I'll pay you. Are you doing that?
Not. I'm kind of not really interested in making money off it, to be honest. Yeah, I just did it because I'm interested in it. I'd prefer to put my time in learning more. Yeah, that's
well done, well said. And no, because that'll save you from getting all these messages of like, hey Darren, can you please make me one, and try and undercut the trade. But it's very time intensive and stuff for you, and I appreciate that. Yeah. So wow, that is amazing. You completely went way above what I was expecting in terms of such a beautiful finished product. That was absolutely sensational. So if you listen to this and you didn't quite understand what's going on, maybe I'll have to make this episode video only, because there's so many visuals that you showed that this one might have to be a video, and I might just signpost it on the audio podcast. But that's amazing. So if you want to find out more, Darren's been so generous in giving his time and knowledge. Reach out to him on Dr. Darren Tsang on Instagram, and I'm sure he'll be able to help you. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Amazing, brilliant. And have you had any challenges in terms of once you got it done, or was it quite plug and play and okay in the end?
I think the only thing is just making sure your flash is like to the like maximum brightness when you're doing it. I think that's probably the main thing. And sometimes when you're trying to look through it, because the lens is covered, it can be a little bit more difficult to take the photo. I don't know if you find that with your
Yeah,
one as
absolutely.
well,
Yeah, it can be a bit more difficult. So everything looks a bit darker. And you're right, you need to overcompensate for the flash to be able to actually get the light to penetrate through the filter and get that detail. So that's a very valid point. Darren, thank you so much for giving up your time and sharing this super cool thing that you've done. I know a lot of the Protrusive will really appreciate it. I was telling everyone in the Telegram group that Darren's coming and do this. Are you on a Telegram group, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on the Telegram.
Amazing,
group.
perfect.
I was too shy to say anything about Chaz.
Oh man,
I was just like,
honestly, what you've done is amazing, and I wish you all the best in the rest of your career. I think I'm very excited to see you flourish and develop. I love what you're doing, and keep it up, man. These are the kind of geeky things we love. So thanks for doing it, thanks for sharing it, and keep it up, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chaz.